Warning. Right. Keep your lips shut now. Don't say no. Don't. No, that's it. Right. Don't talk about them anymore.
Chrissy and are they still away?
Who?
Chrissy.
Chrissy's back. Christina's back.
Oh.
The happy campers.
Oh, so they should be here then.
They had lovely weather, didn't they? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Kaz will get to know in a minute. We meet every Tuesday, so some of us we know each other quite well.
Oh, nice.
Which was a good thing that the pandemic caused. And but we've got our own little gallery and everything now. It's funny, isn't it? If you go back to the early part of the gallery and look at the pictures, they're enough changed. They've come on a lot, don't they? Well, I'm the same as everyone else. I say, I don't know. I've got this car boot sale this weekend down the road. I was looking for a fold-up table off of one of my kids. See if someone had a paste table so I could go and put all the paintings that I've done one a week for all the 4 years.
Oh gosh.
All the way through the pandemic and that. To put them at sea, 40 quid each or whatever.
That's it. You might be lucky, mightn't you?
Yeah.
Well, at 68, I can't be asked to go doing exhibitions and all that stuff again. I've got my pension. Got a letter. Increase in your state pension. Yeah.
Is that not an increase in tax as well?
Minted? No, they don't have to pay tax on that. It doesn't get to the what is it? Not even 1,000 a month. That's the top rank, top rate.
So an SPP then, is it?
I didn't look. I only found the letter here just now. I thought that it's probably been there months. No, that's 14th of February.
I was going to say. It went up in April, didn't it?
10th of April. Oh, wow.
Mind, it's a bit of a struggle if there's just one of you, isn't there? If you've got 2 pensions coming in, it does help.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids today would take a good leaf out of a book to invest in a pension if they can while they're young.
I think they should be made to, and then it would, you know, solve a lot of problems, wouldn't it?
Well, technically, I suppose with a state, you are made to with a state pension, but it just ain't enough to keep your head above water. Oh, here's Chrissy. See, my delay tactics work.
Yeah.
Ask to start video. Okay. Little head pops up.
Morning.
Morning.
There she is. Morning.
We got Anne and Gordon. No, Anne's got hospital. Good luck, Anne. I'll edit it, Anne. This morning says Anne and Gordon will be busy. Is your volume working, Chris? Not saying. Are you all right, Chris? You're not talking. You're not speaking to me. She can't hear us either because she's not laughing. No speaking. Can't hear you.
She looks a bit worried.
Is that right? No hearing. No hearing. Can't hear you. Christine is connecting to audio.
Oh, there she is.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh dear. Well,
good
hello to Chrissy.
You had a nice holiday?
Yes, lovely, thank you.
Good.
Yes, very, very good. And best of all, Leo won first prize in the dog show for most handsome dog.
Oh, wow. That was good.
Very nice.
He just,
Everybody okay?
yeah,
Yes, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna
Everybody
say,
all
Pardon?
right?
I turn my speaker up. There you go. Can't hear you.
No.
No, you're all right.
Oh, that's better.
Just over the
Yeah,
chair.
turn, flick down the side.
Right.
Brilliant. This is Kaz, by the way.
Hiya.
Hello, Kaz, wherever you are.
Hello.
Oh, can you not see her?
Hang on.
You haven't got your little pictures, have you?
Yeah, there you are. Hi.
Hiya. Nice to meet you all.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome to,
Yes, thank you.
you sort of, welcome to Mayhem.
Yeah.
We'll try for an early lunch.
Mm.
It's such a simple subject. We should be finished early. Oh,
He
oh.
says that every week.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen very often, does it?
No.
No.
Towards the end, somebody says something and say, "Oh yeah, right, okay."
Mm.
Or, "Oh, wonder if we should, if we've just no." I didn't. Oh, Joyce sent me some pictures. Hang on.
Ooh.
Well, I went.
I was
No,
doing up.
I'll only the one, wasn't it, Joyce?
Yes, I think I've got to do something else
We're
on
gonna
the
do
other.
a bit more. No, I won't.
No.
That
Yeah,
was
that's
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
that was the one from a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Vita Nova, I think it's called.
Mm.
I don't know how you do it.
No. Gosh.
Hang on. I think I made a smaller version as well. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Wow. That's lovely.
Yeah, I like the smaller.
Well,
Lovely.
when you get a big screen, it comes out. You can put a frame around it. Ta-da! Oh, that's a bit big, isn't it? Hang on. What do you reckon? I'll change the size. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stick them all
That's,
together.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm.
What we do now, Kaz, is or what I anyway is there's a few websites that people put up photographs that they've taken. Paint, will you paint my picture? So there's no copyright shenanigans to worry about. So what I tend to do now is like gradually go through every week or every couple of weeks. I'll find, or during the week I'll just click it, and if I see one that I fancy, we'll use that as our subject, as our reference, because it's much better that way. Otherwise I just paint what I'd like all the time. So this is what I was saying, over the last few years, we go portraits, landscapes, green stuff. Nobody likes the greenery.
Lots of green stuff.
Everyone struggles with that. And I think coming up on the horizon, it might be next week, it's a bison.
Oh.
Really?
A bison. I saw one the other day I
Oh, yeah.
downloaded was a fox. There's
Oh,
some
wow.
flowers, some floral ones. I actually took some what are those dog roses, those bramble roses in my garden. I took a picture of that the other day. I thought that'd make a nice picture painted. So what I'm saying is we don't have any fear of, well, we're apprehensive about what we're about to paint, but it makes us I think it makes us better because we're painting lots of different subjects all the time.
That's certainly challenging.
The challenge, yeah, there's no
Yeah.
point otherwise. We'd all
Yeah.
be just doing portraits or whatever else it is that we like. I think Pauline sent me one. Hang on, just do the bit of housework. What's no point in painting it if I don't show them off?
Yeah.
I can't find the share button now. Oh, come here.
I'm still doing my bath. I only started it yesterday.
I haven't
Well,
done
there's
the
no
bust.
pressure, that's the other thing.
This is the archway one that
Oh,
I looked,
building.
it looked all right when I drew it. I drew, you know, I didn't trace it, I drew it, but now when I painted it, I think, oh dear, the bus has
that's
gone a bit
great.
of funny shape.
It's
That's good.
great.
I
Yeah.
love it.
The Clink in London. It's,
Mm.
Yeah.
it's called the Clink, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The thing in the background is the prison museum. I suppose it's from years ago. I think there's a. I don't know where I put mine. But that was Pauline's.
That's good.
But the thing is, there's so much going on in it. At first, when you see the sketch, you think, "Oh, blimey!" But but we're not into. You don't need. It's not about the photograph. It's about the. I don't know, trying to capture some atmosphere or whatever. Because those Turner ones, they're just blur, aren't they? Some of them. I'm pretty enthusiastic about them, and I look at it and think, "Oh yeah, it's great, but where's the detail? You know, where is it?" But it's all about capturing the atmosphere, I suppose. I can't be doing with it. I don't understand all this arty farty stuff. It just goes right over my. I think the best advice is always paint what you see, or draw what you see, paint what you see, and leave it at that. And if you see it wonky, paint it wonky. You're an abstract artist or whatever. But I did keep the for abstract was we haven't tackled any. Want to do it. The Royal Society Protection of Birds magazine, and there's loads of photographs of people have taken of locations, marshland and all this places with birds in, and when you squint your eyes, look at it and separate it all out, you can see all the abstract. I was looking at one on the loo this morning. I thought, oh, that's good. I can see what you have to. Yeah, too much information. You have to see it. I'm not going to run in and grab it now. I might do. But today's adventure, let me change the. Ooh, where am I? This clicking every day. It's a seascape. It looks pretty simple. Let me share it. Give me. Anyone got any thoughts on it? Everyone, it looks simple, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. No,
Nothing's ever simple.
it wasn't Kaz's fault. I picked it. It came up on Paint My Picture, and I thought, because I was chatting to her on emails, and she said, "Oh, it's Seascape," and I thought, "Wow, yeah, that's a good idea." We're always confident on seascapes. What can go wrong? Bit of blue sky, blue water, and a bit of sand. Next thing you know, this one turned out, and she liked it, and I liked it, and it caught my eye. But the more I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh dear.
The sky's got lots of different layers in it.
Well, it was only till I put it on my board and I was looking at it, I thought, I think I've done it again. I've picked up a photo that someone's changed the sky to include 3 different layers of sky in Photoshop or something. I don't know. It does look a bit almost interesting, as though the background sky feels, and it looks like 3 different layers of sky, or at least 2. Well, we'll have a bit of fun with it. Any thoughts? How to approach it?
No.
I deliberately sent my my palette picture that shows what colours I use, because I like I said, I'm more or less stuck with these now. I enjoy using them, and they'll be handy for Kaz to follow through, or at least get a flavour of what colours we use. The one thing I I'm looking at. I always try to look to see which way the light's coming from. And I've got a funny feeling it's coming, the sunny bits on the, what is that side? The right hand side. The light's coming across.
Mm.
Because if you look at the
The
beach
trees
bit,
you got, yeah.
there's sort of shadowy bit on this side, isn't there?
Mm.
And there's a bright spot up here. When you zoom in, it's a different picture anyway, because there's loads of and if I can do it, yeah, oh, yep.
I did that because there's a road going along, isn't there?
Along the, yeah,
In the tree.
and there's this. They've got these step things at the back.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't see those.
No,
No.
I didn't see that.
I zoomed right in, and I thought,
Oh,
because sometimes if you zoom in, you get a nicer, not easier, a different
mm.
composition. Makes it easier to paint, or you see more detail, or too much. If you
yeah.
it make, but when you zoom in here, it makes the water harder to paint.
Perhaps we ought to do that. Not too much trees, is there?
Yeah.
There
Cut
you
the
go.
greenery out.
Everyone says about the foliage. They are a little. It is difficult. Anyway, let's just have a go.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Go on, yeah. If you want.
Oh,
Oh,
can't find the zoom. Oh, I've got to stop the share, am I? Now I've got just. Here we are at the Dorset studios of
mhm.
the Arts. Learn to paint. Oh, hang on. What I want to do is spotlight for everyone. There you go. I'm just going to change my microphone and then splish splash splosh. Here we go. Oh dear, I've got that flipping tune in my head every week. I play the care home on a Wednesday, and somebody mentions it, and I think, oh, I need a new tune for the next time I come, and then I'll spend days learning a new song, and of course it's stuck in your head. I'm walking around the marsh with the dog this morning singing, I've forgotten what it's called now. Always in My Dreams, or whatever it was. I did do a doodle yesterday, just as I don't know, take the edge out of what I get up to today. But the problem is I've already forgotten how I did it.
Oh, wow. It'll be different today then.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, what? I have a rough idea, obviously, but what I did do, one thing's, there are different ways of painting the water, and the paper I use is the knot finish, as everyone. Langton is the one I'm using. 2, 3, 4. Let's get that bit. And you need the knot finish for the water, really, so you can get. There's different ways of doing it. You can try. Let's do it quickly. If you can get. She looks nice. You can get what's masking fluid pen, which I tried on one of these, and it didn't. And I thought it was rubbish. It didn't work. But you sort of got to try these different things, and if you look at where your waves are, and just sketch them in with the masking fluid. You can use ordinary masking fluid in the pot as well. some people do that, but it doesn't work for me. I've tried it and the result wasn't too enamoring, but they're only doodles anyway, so it doesn't, I'm not looking to, I sort of got it and there's still some there. You can rub it back. I don't know, it didn't work for me. And the problem is I become impatient, and so I'll just try this way and do it a different way. But the sky's the always the thing that defines the painting. And my only comment on that, Kaz, is that it's the best way I know of getting rid of white paper, because it's just staring at you, intimidating. I'm going to turn this upside down because I notice there's a upside down. There's no upside down. It's either one way or the other. There's a divot there, dent in my paper. Always worth checking it out. Blue, blue, blue. Now, what I'm going to do with the sky is something that I've done before, but I think it helps. Or it can help blend in and blend the colours in later. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I've got a mop, clean water, and I'm only going 2/3 down because I'm only going to muck about with the sky. I haven't drawn a line, but you can draw some people like to draw a horizon line. I'm just going to let the water flow. The next thing I'm going to do, I've got some white gouache, so I'm just going to stick a dollop of that on where I've just put the water. I've done it. You've seen me do this in the past. If I can get any out. Oops. There you go. Don't need a lot. Just need there's a technical term, a smidgen, about the size of a pea on this size paper, and I'm just going to spread it on. Not with that brush, you won't be doing much. I need just use a flatter brush. It doesn't. There's nothing. There's not a lot there, but I just found it's giving the I don't know, taking the edge off the paper, and when the paint touches it, it sort of, you get a nice softer feel to the sky. Sky colour. I've got 2 buckets of water here. The problem with using gouache or any white, the first thing that happens is all your water goes milky, and the second thing that happens following that is, as soon as you put that milky brush in your watercolor, the watercolor paint goes milky too. So I'm just making sure they're clean. Blue, got this cobalt turquoise or cerulean blue, which is nice, and a mix of cobalt blue and ultramarine in this palette. There's a dollop of each one. So combined, I'm not mixing them. One thing Kaz, you shouldn't really do is, you're not painting with Dulux. It's not paint pre-mixed color. You're not doing the kitchen wall or the lounge wall. And what you want is not to mix them so that they form one specific color. What you want is a blend of all 3 or all 2 or all the colors in the middle. That's the bit you want. Hopefully I'm still wet. Been yapping. But I just think you can sense as I'm doing it that the white is still underneath. There's a white bit. Let me see what it is. So I'm just doing it more or less at random. No real contrived method. Charles Evans technique. I wish I'd seen some of his Charlie Evans videos. So I find the next stage is always the fascinating bit. If your paper dries, keep a spray. This is lens cleaning spray, an old one, but it's just water, an atomizer. Handy thing for when you're painting. Just look at, well, that's it. It's that base of white definitely gives it gives the paper, I don't have the words. It just sort of acts as a sort of binder, resist, makes the paint feel more, well, it's obviously going to make it feel opaque, but it just gives it that extra little bit of something. It's a good way of doing it. Now, I'm just looking for, you can't imitate a sky because it's such a fluid moving thing. What you could do, once we've got the blue on, is find some shadow. Now, burnt sienna over there on the palette and a hint of the blue will give us that shadowy colour. I've got it over here now. So we can drop some in. To say no skies are ever the same when you come to paint them anyway. Well, it's watercolour, isn't it? So everything's squishing around. Payne's grey is some people use as well. You'll hear that mentioned a lot, Kaz. But just as quick to mix your own up. It's almost just dirty water. It's over here in the palette. Just mixed up burnt sienna and a little bit of that blue. The one over this side in the palette looks a bit dark, so I'm a bit reticent to mess about with it. And the next stage, once you establish some tone, you'll put just shadow. I'm using the edge of my board just to take any excess off the brush. Now that brush I was using just now to put to wish the white around is also handy for adding some fluffy bits to the clay. So if you whack it in water, tap the edge off, and then as long as it's damp, just use it to lift any areas you want to put fluffy clouds in. And sing a little song or whistle a tune as you go, and it'll. But if you've got tissue in one hand, and just dab the brush on. All's the way, isn't it? How many times you do this, put paint on, and then spend 10 minutes knocking it off again? Once you get good at it, you don't need to do much of this. It just sort of happens.
But it might, I was looking at the sky I did on the little board. I'll do it in a minute. When it's bone dry, you might want to mix up some soft shadowy tones and just put a wash of it on to give those extra bit of moodiness to it. But as long as you've got a tissue in that hand, you can just squish away, create some cloud shapes. Bearing in mind that it is watercolor and it will dry back considerably. So I dare say there's a percentage ratio that it will do it. Just looking at this bit here, I want to put a little bit more. Worth spending a few extra minutes. As I say, normally with the sky, it's just a one-hit thing with me, or it was in the past. But just more recently, I'll let it dry and perhaps reevaluate it and drop some more, look for some more shadowy bits. Particularly when it's wet. I've got my hairdryer out anyway, so I'm ready. My sky is slightly different to the picture, but that's good. I'm not upset about that. Lift off the horizon if you want. Just damp brush. It runs a bit. You might find. Well, I only wetted the top 2/3 anyway, so I'm pretty confident the water is not going to run down too far. What I was just saying was that at some point, when it's bone dry like that, you can. Has to be bone dry though. You know, a day or so. There's that nice flat brush. You can just very gently, you could use a sprayer, but if you just go over it, very lightly, no pressure on the brush, just smooth it across. And then just drop in some, you can use a rigger or a small brush, but who dares. And you can always add some damp, dirty water, I call it, but it's more like a very watery shadow tone. And add some more of those fluffy bits on. Problem with this, doing this, is you'll never know when your picture's finished. It will never be finished because you'll always be adding more sky. Because when that dries, you don't need to do a lot. Just do a few layers, but you can see what I'm on about. You can just drop in very gently more tone. No, it's going to happen here, don't you? This one's going to look better than the big one. Just sort of leave it to dry. You know, go and have your lunch, go and do the shopping, or whatever. Come back in the morning and do it, and look at it again and evaluate it again and add a bit more, take a bit off. That's the way to get really interesting skies. But like I say, it's difficult because they dry so different to the original one that you started with. You think, wow, that's brilliant. You come back following day and you look, where's it gone? And obviously it dries and soaks back in. Right, next bit. Build it up, I suppose. I'm stuck with this brush, Carol. I did send a link, and I did this mop pure squirrel SER 170 on Rosemary and Co. handmade brushes and all that. This was, I got a funny feeling this was a special that they made for a school that they didn't take them up because of COVID came, so the school didn't need the brushes. Hence the reason not, they were selling them, and I bought one. There is no, they're none on their website. Doesn't it? It's almost like it's never existed. But the colour I'm using here is Dew. Some people buy, if you look, it can be, some call it sand, but I'm just making a, just blocking it in really, just putting a little wash of it, but I'm leaving that angle there for a bit of water. Oh, we're going for an early lunch. You are, it is until you start doing the C, and then it all goes to pot. That's when you start earning your money. But I will put a little bit of extra over this side. That's all there is. That's all I'm going to do for a minute. See, they're talking at beaches and tides. Those two youngsters that died at Bournemouth, they're talking it was a riptide. Crikey. That's right next to the pier.
Sorry.
Do you believe that? You wouldn't think, you know, you'd think it's really safe there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right
What are
next
they
to
investigating the Paul Bell for? Because I've been away and I've had no signal, so I haven't seen the news.
well, that because the Dorset Bell goes up and down to the pier.
Yeah, yeah.
So they obviously, and it had been there quite recent to the accident.
Oh, I see.
So obviously they put in, if they had created a wave that swallowed up the
Yeah.
children, the
Mm.
youngsters or the swimmers,
Yeah.
then there could be a claim.
Mm.
But that was from the coroner. That was funny because I was driving back from doing my music, and oh, you wouldn't know, it was last Wednesday. So yeah, I was driving back and I always go that way, the back way, which takes you up round the beach, because I'm nosy and I like to see what's what. It's a nice little over the cliff, and a police car was coming up behind me, so I moved out the way on a blooming bend by some traffic lights to let him past, and I sort of, he got past. I thought it was weird, I could still hear loads of sirens and that, and I went to move off, and blimey, there was 2 ambulances bearing down on me, and they were honking their horn at me and everything. I had to jump up on the path. And that was what it was. They were in a rush. They had 2 youngsters in there really poorly. Didn't make it either.
No.
Wow. Always on about those riptides, aren't they? How to identify them.
Well, that was what took that boy at Rockley Point, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah.
Hamworthy. That was a riptide.
I can imagine if you're
What was it?
swimming and it happens, you just got to lie on your back and go with it. Sounds easy, doesn't it?
Mm.
that you'd automatically panic, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Gosh, yeah.
I would.
Mm.
Anyway, looking at this picture, waffling on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All I've done is I've used the dune colour to just do a little base sand wash. And then I've added some of this shadow that I used up here and dropped it in. I'm still doing it a bit now. Could add a hint of that I'm using rose madder. What's in my palette, but there's no reason why a little hint of that on the sand as well on the beach. It's a bit of a decision as well, because there are angles here. You've got the angle of the foreshore going up here, and then but you also got the angle of the beach leading to a vanishing point elsewhere as well. So it might be prudent to use a brush stroke going just a couple anyway, that way up, you know, pushing it in, because the water would have come in and it could have gone right up to there and then receded and left a tide mark going that way, I presume. So it wouldn't hurt just to have a few that way. And the reason I'm thinking it is because it leads the eye in. I'm not putting much paint on it. It's just a little bit of. Anyway, back this brush, Carol, that we were on about.
All right.
I couldn't find one of these. There is one similar to this, and it's by it's dedicated to a specific artist, like these people do. And it was 60 quid. And I looked at it and I thought, well, it ain't that one, because there's no way I'd have paid 60 quid for a brush. Not that I'm tight or anything, well, a little bit, but there was absolutely no chance of that. But I did find another range of them that was, you know, the 7 or 8 quid each. You only need the one. So I've ordered one of those to see, just to see what it does, how it compares with this. It says it's squirrel.
Well, perhaps we'll wait and see what yours is like before
Well,
we buy one.
that's what I would do if I were you.
Right.
Otherwise, I feel bad if someone was to buy it, because it's not. I think it was the blend of synthetic and squirrel or something like that.
Right.
Well, once you see one for 60 quid that's like this, you think, well, can't imagine me doing that somehow. Well, I've done it in the past, years ago. Bought an expensive sable brush, and 6 months after you use it, off the hair's gone and it's muted, it's blunt. It starts off a nice pointy thing.
That's not good, is it?
Well, no, because sable by nature is animal, isn't it? It's and it wears out. It just drops off. You know, you start off with a nice pointy brush, like something like that, and then in the end, it turns into a dumpy, non-pointed bulb thing. You know, where it just that's always been my experience. Different with rigor, because sometimes you want it to wear out and get finer and finer. I think this is tempted to. Well, I don't know. Without burbling, I'm going to use this. I don't know. Dad, you go through little things with this painting, like. I'm using this brush nearly for every painting now. Shall I? Yeah, raw sienna, which was in that palette. Don't know what it's like now. Just a dab of it. So just have a think about Just think tree. Don't need a lot. But I do think I've got a little bit of yellow here. I'm going to drop that in as well, just to brighten it up. If you think, if you're scared, get a fan brush or a brush, stiff brush, and just use the edge. Let that take some of the angst out of it. But for Kaz's benefit, and anyone else that watching later on video, you can use a brush. Find one that's got a nice, any brush. No, this, I was going for my favourite, looking through the filtering through for a favourite, but you can use the brush on its side and just flick it about, flick it up. Take some of the paint off as well. Just use it neat and just flick it up. Remember the old saying, brushes can sometimes be expensive. Don't just use the point. But what you're looking for foliage type things is the that sort of randomness, isn't it? Spontaneous sort of feel. I've got a bit of green here, iridium. Add a little bit of, on its own, don't use it, it's horrible. But if you add a little bit of raw sienna or yellow or blue, you'll get a nice variation of a nice green. I'm deliberately not doing the bottom bit because I want to put some dark there. But I'm still using the edge of the brush. I mixed up a bit of darker green the other day, which is just a bit of that green with some blue in it. Just add a little bit of blue and drop it in. Just use the edge of the brush. Flat. Hold it. Like a 5-year-old holds a knife, probably. Well, maybe. Well, not too. With clean water. And I'm just going to run clean water down the bottom and extend it out. Not the final. The final wash, it's just setting the scene for later. Ding, ding, ding. Push it up. Okay. Now the scary bit. Where it all goes pear-shaped. I'm left-handed. I'll stick my hands up. What I'm going to do is add the blue to the green that I mixed up earlier. Don't know why. I like that. I just want it to be off of the blue of the sky, but not the blue of the sky. The blue of the sky is nice, but it's in the sky. But the blue of the sea, I want it to be a little bit slightly different. Hopefully, we're on Put a bit of paper down there. Last thing I want to do is put a load of blue in my sky. What we're going to do, or what I'm going to attempt to do, is just that. On this bit of paper. Easier to make a mistake here than it is on there. Yep, that did. Again, I'm stuck with this brush now. Horizon, well, I haven't put a pencil line there, which might have helped. So let's do it, even though it's a bit wet. Take a, so I said, I've got no real pre-planned. I don't know if that's going to work. A bit more. So I've just use my 300-year-old ruler. Sometimes it's nice to put a pencil line because it can guide your eye. Just wait that. Rest your arm, your hand on the board, and go straight across. Following my pencil line. Not too bad. Might want to make it slightly darker at the back. Too much green. Told you, serious good bit of green that. Viridian. Don't mess with it. On its own, it's too much. That's okay. You always drop in. Once you've established that back one, you're on a sort of a roll. Keep the brush. Don't put any more paint on it. I want it to be go dry, the brush. You always just leave a slight space. So you do a bit, miss a gap, and do a bit more. As long as you don't recharge the brush, you'll be okay. Because you're taking a lot of the paint away. Yeah, I'm okay with that. We got a curve, haven't we? So we could put, but I did paint a slight curve with the when I did the beach. So yep. You can always add more, but it's easier. It's harder to take it away. Still want to add more to that back bit somehow, but I'm just yeah. The far up, I want it to come there. I'm tempted to use some cerulean blue. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'll put a line of it across here. Like that. Now the work starts. Just clean water on the brush now. Funny, I can hear seagulls at the front. Herring owls. No such thing as a seagull. Oh. Wow. What's that then? Sets the scene. Gives something to work on. Just to recap, while it sets itself off. See, that one's worked quite well as well. Just to recap, you can wet your brush the first time. You don't have to use a big brush like that. I just used sky blue and a hint of the green. Give me an off colour. Just as I was going to say as an aside, my palette is done. The boxes on this palette are always more or less set in the same. That side's usually, that top one is usually shadows and tones. This one's blues. That one greens. This one is normally fleshy yellow stuff, but that's obviously left over from last week, so I'm lying. But normally that's, if you set it off a palette the same every time, you get into a little routine. So some days you don't even need to think about where you put your brush. You know that, you know, it's your mix. Going back to the scene. If you keep going with the brush, eventually it will dry out the end with, and that's the bits that you get to play with your waves, because that's the bit I'm going to do next on the other one. So that's just using a bit of the green, the darker greeny colour. So it's all about that, mixing up some blue, sky blue, and just add a tinge of green or burnt sienna even, because that, if it goes off with the blue, it will go greeny, greyish, that sort of sea greyish. Then all we're going to do is that on the waves. There's one there. You can see there's just a hint of something there. So that's what we're going to try. It's always easier on a scrap bit of paper because you're confident, you don't mind if it spoils, but when it comes to your picture, you tend to think, oops, you tend to be a bit more cautious. But it's damp. I'm using the same colour just for the hell of it, because it is that sort of watery C shape. We'll put a bit at the top as well. And just pick out waves. You have to think about it. A little bit. But the brush stroke is usually 2 little dabs or a couple, just a little blob, and then a sweep across. So that sort of gives you the dark area, and then you just sweep it across. And then when you get a lot of white foam, you can just put a smidgen, just more. It is a decision-making time. Which I said, here comes the difficult bit, because you have to sort of think, do I want a wave there or whatever? Gradually build them up. Need a bit more paint. What you can do, what I do a lot, is if you do that, like I've done there with dark colour, like you brush in clean water, and just put water, soft water, at the bottom of it, so that it flows. You get that nice transparent feel. Here, I'll do it on you. Take a paint there. You put a darker piece on. Just do the top if you want. It's a classic watercolor technique. Clean water on your brush, tap it on the edge of the water container, and then at the bottom of the blob of paint you put on, just use clean water and you watch. It will just flow along, and all of a sudden you'll have a wave. It's as simple as that. Well, that's the way I do it. What's the net? Can't think of another way. Mix up a bit more shadow and colour. Okay, bit of green, which is, as I say, is Viridian stroke hooker's green. Add some of that sky blue. Any blue do. Just want it to be that sort of pea greeny colour. There's a load of it gone over on the edge of the space there. Another way I like to, and I've got my favourite rigger, but a rigger is handy as well, because you can put some more finer information on. And I've got, yeah, let's be conscious that you can overwork it. Maybe I've headed that way already. My C, I think my C is going to be a little bit more active than the one in the picture looking at this. Clean water. Bit of paint. I'm going to add a bit of burnt umber to this, make it darker, which is my go-to dark, burnt umber and blue. This hot weather dries out this palette of paint so quickly. Oh, don't want it too dark. But this is use a bit of digital art with your finger. Put something over here in the distance. There, that was cool. And don't forget, at the end of the day, if you're not content, or you want to add a little bit of extra sparkle, we've still got that tube of white that purist artists would say, "Ooh, you wouldn't use white on watercolor," but no rubbish. Sometimes you need a little bit of white just to add a little bit of sparkle here and there. I won't be able to do it on this one, but tomorrow morning, if it's when it's bone dry, you can use a scalpel or a sharp blade and just scrape out a few highlights and tops of waves. One of the other colours that really works well, well, it's two actually, burnt sienna works really well. That was burnt sienna there. It makes a really nice off shadow grey that you can, I did it there, I'll put a line of it all the way along there for now. It's burnt sienna. Oh, this is easy. Don't know what all the fuss is about. And then add some clean water to your brush and just go over that slightly. And it will give that sort of wettish and it's just clean water and a bit of burnt sienna. That was a deep sigh then. Did anyone hear that? I did a sigh. I'm just using a rigger to and clean water just to soften down some of the bits of paint that I've put on. There's a nice bit there. It's looks quite nice. I think I might add a little bit to that with the rigger. Haven't finished yet. Right. That's a shame. Once you get a rigger in your hand, it's difficult to stop. But those are the brushes that you need to worry about, Kaz. Rigger. This is a number 2, I think. It might have been once, but yeah, I think it's a number 2. A number of riggers. I tend to go from 2. That's a 2. That's a 1. So that was a 2 and a 1. A rigger. You need to get a large mop. This one I've used here for nearly all the painting is a number 0 squirrel mop. The only other various brushes, a 1-inch flat is really handy. So I've used that today. I haven't finished yet, I've still got a bit more to do. But that's, you got that lot, you ain't going to get far wrong.
Right.
Once you've, you know, that's a nice one.
So would you be able to send me that in an email, Dave?
Yeah, I'll sort that out. Well,
Thank you. That would be great.
yeah, I'll do that during, over the next day or so. I'll send you a link to the brushes that because I got a thing about it. You can spend so much. I wouldn't say it's a waste of money, but you can. Well, technically it is, but it's a learning experience anyway. But you can.
Yeah.
But you can fast track away from that. And the ones that we use a lot, or the ones I used a lot, like this purple one, but they come from distinct sites. They're not a mismatch. Rosemary and Co. sell brilliant brushes, and Terry Harrison's website, who, I mean, fortunately he's no longer with us, but his wife still maintains. Well, she's an artist in her own right, so she maintains the brushes and some of the paints that he used to use as well. So, and they're magic.
Can I just ask you about the white paint that you used?
Yeah, I come from Japan. It is as well. It's PASS, the white, but it's brilliant. It's not gouache and it's not watercolor. It's a blend of the two.
All right.
Yeah, I've probably got an email that I've sent before with all that stuff on, so I'll just have a flick through and I'll find it and I'll forward it over. Well, I'll amend it and forward it to you. What I'm trying to do here, what I'm going to do is add a little bit more information. I would say it needs to be a thing with me. Information to this background. This I'm using that rigger, the one with the purple handle. This brilliant brush. But like I say, you can. The brush is just a means of whacking a paint on. So sounds an obvious thing to say, but but what I'm trying to say, there are so many ways that you can use it to get different effects. What I did try to do earlier was mix up some burnt umber. You can see why I only use these limited these paints. You can mix up nearly every color you ever need on these. You get certain. That was burnt umber and blue. So I'm just using the brush to whack in some of the really dark bits at the bottom. Ooh. My brush wiggled. But 9/10 of it is combination of the two things, confidence and just being an idiot. Just saying stuff it. What happens? What can possibly happen? There's no one looking over your shoulder to say that's, well, in my case there is at the moment, but that's rubbish, or if that ain't right. It's just you. So if you're not happy with it, turn the bloody paper over and do it the other side and start again at some point. But make some mental notes to say, next time I'm going to try and do this slightly different, which in itself ain't easy, because I'm always saying, I do it all the time. I think, I'm going to try and do this in this sort of style or this way. I'm going to do it. And when I look at back at the picture, like the one I'm doing right now, and one that I've done 3, 4, 5 years ago, or 3 weeks ago, they look they look identical. The same. Well, you could tell it was David Harvey that painted it. So unless you develop an AI arm or something that you can plug in somewhere and get a different view on the world every time you paint, it's really difficult to paint something distinctly different. You also wear dark glasses or something. Paint with your Polaroid glasses on or something like that. This is just that more of that raw sienna. Just want to warm it up over this side. Raw sienna, rose madder is the other colour that I use. Algerian crimson similar, but I don't use that anymore because it's fugitive. What does that mean? It fades. But it might be a nice idea just to dabble a bit on foliage here. So I'll just try and warm it up a bit. I think the burnt sienna on its own is better. Into blue. So once you've go through the early stages of basic blocking in the sky, the beach, and all the rest of it, by that point you will have on your palette the colours, all the colours that you're going to need later on to finalise things. Am I off for time out of interest? Are we on for an early lunch?
10 to 12.
But yeah.
10 to 12?
Yeah,
Mm.
I've missed all this, sorry. The nurse came to see
done.
Peter. Oh, I haven't seen how you do your water. Is that dragging it along with
Yeah.
the paintbrush? Yeah,
Yeah.
on dry paper.
You got it.
Is that shadow colour? The way it's
Yeah.
on? Yeah.
See? You know how to do it.
I'm learning a bit. That looks lovely.
Well, there's plenty more to do, but seascapes, I mean, let's be honest, they are, I was going to say, they're basic, simple subjects, aren't they? I mean, they are bread and butter subjects to us. We should be able to do them quite diligently now, quite confidently. The beauty of them is they encompass all the techniques that you're ever going to need in watercolor, which is why I've been using that extra bit of board. So anyone watching later on a video, they can get the gist of it. You know, like this, like you just said, the sea. Well, put some paint on the brush, blue or whatever color sea you want. And this is not this. This is a totally different brush. This actually is a sable brush. I think it is. Yeah, pure sable. I didn't buy this. There's no way I bought this. I purloined it, or someone's left it at an art class somewhere, and I've just picked it up. But yeah, so if you take the brush, I'll go right to left. Once you start, keep going, then leave a gap, keep going, leave a gap, And you can see the brush is now getting
Yeah.
less
Oh,
and less
I've got to
painful.
go again. Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. No, I'm just coming.
All right, this is the bit especially for Carol when she's washing later. But yeah, that's all it is really. But you can blend, you don't have to stay with that. You can marry the gap up just by gently. I know I'm a bit more confident perhaps, and make it look easy. And then once it's, you know, have some darker, same color actually, just add a little bit along the top of it and it'll flow down. Voila. Then you've got the nice bit of shadow there. Like I say, that danger is the one on the scrap paper always ends up looking better than the one on the real painting. But you can, as it dries, add a little bit of extra darks here and there. But that's good. The one up here, that's dried earlier. So I can put a little bit of extra dark here and there. Along the top, where it's rolling over, so to speak. And then if you take just clean water, if it dries back, or it looks like it's going to dry with a hard line, just put clean water underneath it. And you'll get that spread. That's what watercolour is all about. Once you get that under your belt, once you practice that a few times and get confident at it, every painting you ever do is going to need that. It's going to have that sort of methodology in it. It's just a fundamental thing of watercolour. It's quite a nice way for that. Like I say, the only problem is it's better than the one on the one on the board. But yeah, you can build it up as you see fit. But the first thing to do when you get to a certain stage is to stop looking at the reference picture, because you've got no chance of copying that, nor should you want to. I'm having this debate with some of my astronomy people, because a lot of the software they use these days to process the astronomical data that we achieve with our telescopes at the back are using AI. So the danger is that no matter where you paint, where you get your data from, your astronomical processed image of the night sky is going to look the same, because the software is using AI and deciding what's right and what's wrong, how it should look, which is ridiculous. Right. Quite happy with that. Should we have a bit of fun now? I thought you were having fun. Yeah, well. Get some flesh tone. A little bit of flesh. Whoa, we love a bit of, there we go. And have a think about it.
Oh, you're going to put somebody there.
Have a think about it and say, what do you reckon? There? Yeah. Just paint a straight line going down and one going. Let's think carrot. And what colour trousers does this carrot want? Well, I'll start off. It's unusual. I'll start at the bottom first. I'll blow it, try and get it dry off a bit. Well, I'll just use the colours that are in the palette for now. Oh, that's not gone so well. Just take a bit off the top. Hey, I'm getting rusty. So a bit of dark blue, bit burnt umber. Same colours I've been using all the time, really. As I say, my palette's dried out. I keep squishing it with water. But I've put red on there anyway, so that'll should go dark. Put a bit on there. I do. Not my finest figure. Just haven't got enough dark coming through here. Burnt umber's dried up solid. There you go. A bit better. Well, I've got a little bit of there you go, mate. Was your idea like that? Well, it's nice to go over a bit later because I get so depressed watching Holly and Phil have a bust up on Good Morning and that. I don't emotionally I'm drained. Poor old Holly, what's she gonna do? Oh, she's got Josie now. She's nice. She talk like I do. Where are you from? Swindon. Oh, blimey. Oh, you don't want to go there. There you go. How about a dog?
Where are you from, Kaz?
Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Never been to Sheffield.
Very fine line, if I can. A squiggly line. A blobby line. And another straight line. Have we got a dog
Wow.
or we? I think we've got something going on. That's Dave and his dog. Well, it'll dry off. It was like a pit bull. Oh God. Well, I'm only doing it for a bit of fun, really. Shadow's got to go that way, innit? Remember what I said? Thanks for telling me. But doesn't matter because I'm going to add a little bit of. What you can do sometimes where it's really nice is if you see, I've kept that sky blue over there all this time, but there's no. You can put some little. Sometimes it leads. Oh, I've just threw my river out the window. Flipping that.
That's a silly thing to do.
I know. I missed the bucket and it's gone. Just add a little bit of the sky blue, cerulean blue. It's nice. Or as I got the cobalt turquoise. It's a nice colour to use. Just thought I'd add a few bits of that in. But you've got to stop sometime. Needs a bit more light, that figure. A bit more dark. As I say, I'm really disappointed my burnt umber is not, well, it's got so burnt it's gone blue, gone dry. Because one of the things you have to think about sometimes, Kaz, is if dark things come forward and light things go back. So now, got to think about this. This bloke got there somehow. I haven't done this for all the hundreds of seascapes I must have flogged over the years. And none of them,
Amazing.
and they've all got figures on. Well, more often, some of them got figures on, but no footprints in the sand saying how they got there. So today I'm going to put some in. Oh, we're going to use a. There you go. It's only a morning. We've only got a short amount of time to do it, so I don't do. There we go. They just got promoted Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, my husband's very happy.
Yeah, as soon as you said Sheffield, I thought, oh, maybe could be conflict or happiness. No, it's great. I'm running out of tissues here. I'm using old ones for now. Good thing about not throwing the paint away in your palette, so it comes in handy when you get an old toothbrush. Need a bit more. Some of these tissues are really suspect. Get the toothbrush in the water. Just grab a little bit of whatever. Just give it a quick splish. I'll take the edge off. Bit of tissue. That'll do. And clean bit of tissue. I said the shadow was going right to left. So using that bit of tissue, I'll just no. Come on. Rub it across right to left. And again. That's better.
That's lovely. I like that.
That is nice.
I have no idea whether I'll have a chance to do it because Anne and Gordon and myself are off out in the caravan again on Friday.
Oh, right.
And it ain't going to rain, so you're not going to get stuck indoors with
No,
something.
it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been so nice.
I
I'm
think-
just going over to Kathy's now, and David is on his way to hopefully start doing my cooker. I still
Oh,
haven't.
right.
He was supposed to be putting it in while I was away, but he had a lot of work coming, and he hasn't been able to. So I've been without now
Right.
a
That's a
month.
long time, isn't it?
Yeah,
That'll
yes,
do. That's not a bad morning's effort.
that's
Very
lovely.
good.
Fantastic.
I'm waiting. I'm now well behind, but I will catch up.
You can catch a bus.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to doing the others that I've missed.
That's what I was saying to Kaz earlier. You never know what we're going to turn up. And last week it was a flipping fish and chip bus. That was hard work, that one. Don't know what this one. Proper job.
That's
That's good.
Yeah, I'll send you some
lovely.
bits. I'll send Kaz some info. What we're up to. Yeah, that's okay.
That's amazing.
That is really lovely. That is
Yeah.
definitely
Fantastic.
at Seascapes.
Fantastic.
Well, it wasn't that hard.
For
But I've
you.
tried to.
For you.
No, well, I've tried to give you some pointers on
Mm.
how to achieve things. I mean, even if you go back to the one I did there, you know, the little doodle one, you can pick up the scale of it. So you don't need to do a big sheet. Just get, this is just a pad of Bockingford watercolor paper. So you can just do a doodle on there, and you know, you don't need to go out buying. But this is look for the one that says not finish.
Sorry, I'm going to have to go, everybody.
Okay then.
Just David pull up in the drive. So, yeah,
Right.
nice to chat with you. Chat and catch up soon.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Have a good time
Okay.
away.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, Kaz.
Bye.
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 She's going for an early lunch. Yeah, so you can just use if you get it's got a surface on it, you know, not finish, not rough. Rough is a bit rough. Well, it's you need more experience to do rough, but not finish is just the job. Not
I think I need to get some white paint. I think that,
well, the white is handy.
yeah, I'm not being able to get any of the sort of, you know, the definitions that you've got with the white. But you
Well, I think
learn, don't you? You learn.
it's good for the I like using it on this occasionally on the sky, because it does give it
Yeah,
a little bit of a slight opacity, a softer.
yeah, yeah,
I've got it on there. It's
yeah, it's great. It's really great.
well, it's over to you lot now.
Oh,
I'll send you the video later. If it's, as long as I've recorded, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
right. I'm gonna have to go, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Nice to have met
I've-
you.
I
Yeah.
think I'll
Bye.
definitely come again. It's felt quite a nice atmosphere.
Oh, we're a
Oh.
club.
Yeah, yes, it's
Join
felt
our club.
nice actually.
Well, if
Yeah.
it's Tuesday morning anyway, so
Right.
if you come again, email me rather than pay through them for tickets, and then I'll just send you I don't know, my bank transfer.
You're back. All right. Yeah.
That way you don't pay any fees.
Okay.
Just do that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
But, right, well, I'll look through my diary because I don't know how far ahead yet. But thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it.
Well
Good.
done.
It's been lovely.
Yeah. We'll see you again.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
ya.
I'm going to go for a lie down in a minute.
Yeah.
No.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, Kaz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I've got to go as well. I've got to go and let my daughter's dog out. So.
Oh gosh.
Though the days are long
Love you, Mum.